Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another video. My name is Abbie and this is Spend More Time in the Wild, a platform entirely devoted to seeing people get outside for the benefit of mental and physical health. Now I must admit, my environment doesn't look particularly colourful right now. That's because I am sat on the Solway Firth. Behind me is Scotland, ahead of me is England, and this was the original boundary for the Roman Empire way back the centuries, and that gives a little bit of a hint as to why I'm here. I have just finished walking the Hadrian's Wall National Trail, which travels for 84 miles across the country, following the original line of the Hadrian's Wall itself. Now, whilst there's only 10 miles of physical wall to actually see, it has been a bit of a phenomenal journey. It has had its ups and downs, quite literally, but also the weather of a lifetime. It's been really quite wet, quite windy, and it's super nice to have a little bit of dry, sunshiny weather here that's allowing me to sit here and have this conversation with you guys. Now, everything I do within Wild is about authenticity, and everything is true to my opinion and my personal belief. And I'm here today to talk to you about an app, actually, which is very odd because usually I'm like, get rid of your technology, get outside, hands in the dirt, boots in the mud, and go have some fun. But actually, technology can play an incredible part in enabling outdoor adventures. It can help us to record things such as video and photography, and it can help keep us safe, such as GPS devices. And the app I am talking about today is the Hiiker app. So if I get my phone out, it's for your phone, and you can also use it on your computer as well. As Hiiker with two eyes. Now, I have been in partnership with Hiiker for a number of years, sort of watching how they've evolved, and essentially they are all about building a community. They're about getting people outside and exploring the network of trails that crisscross this beautiful planet, enabling people to get outside and have awesome, rephrase, flipping awesome adventures. And I absolutely love what they're doing, and that's why I want to sit here today and give you my very honest opinion of their new and upgraded version. I reviewed this app back in 2019, and they've done a upgrade. I'm sure I want to say like a mega grade. That's not a thing, is it? They've gone from awesome to mega, a mega grade, as we're going to call that now, to this latest version. And for me, it's completely transformed my way of thinking when it comes to hiking and backpacking. It has enabled me to find different trails that I otherwise wouldn't have known about. And actually, it's a fantastic archive for inspiration, for creativity, and for learning, and also planning your adventures themselves, because it's a planning tool as much as anything else. Now, what I'm going to do in this video is run through a whole bunch of different features that it's got, using the Hadrian's Wall path as a little bit of an example regarding sort of the location elements and stuff like that. And then I'm going to duck in probably to somewhere a bit more sheltered where I can walk you through all of the fun facts and features that are on this app for you to have a go yourself. It is worth noting you can download this app for free. It's got loads of different features for free, and then you can subscribe. There's various levels, but I definitely recommend at least a year subscription, or you can do 3 years up front. And if you use the code Abbie, all capitals ABBIE, you can get 20% off here and now whilst you're listening to me gabber on about all sorts of cool stuff. Get it done, join the fun. Let's dive in. Welcome to the homepage of Hiiker. So this is going to look slightly different depending on whether you've used the app or not before, but essentially they have almost like playlists of different hikes, and it can get a little bit overwhelming. So before I start to break down all the different functions and features of the app itself, what I want to do is just focus on one trail in particular at a time and the different features of a trail, because you might be listening to this review or watching this review because you are interested in a trail already. The Coast to Coast, GR20, Kungsleden, PCT, whatever it is, this app can cater for that trail. So rather than breaking down the entire app to begin with, I want to just focus on one trail, because you can follow along whatever trail you're looking at right now. And I will tell you, this app is going to have the trail that you want to look at. So we open up your particular trail. I've just finished walking the Hadrian's Wall path, and you can see there's lots of different things that we can look at. You can leave reviews, articles, if you can write, if you log in. There's some pro features here, which is to download the GPX and print your map. You can see those there, just highlighted there in the middle of the screen. And what I want to do is just start with the trail map itself. So we'll click that. Click. And here we go, zoomed out, 84 miles of awesomeness. I'm going to locate myself by pressing my GPS button here in the bottom right. Click. And that takes me to exactly where I am right now. Let's get this loaded up. Sorry, it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy. So I'm actually facing inland because I was facing the camera, so you had the nice view behind you. And what you can see is you've got this cross here in the center of the screen that stays there, okay? So if I put that on my location, which is the blue dot here, you can see this black bar underneath the back there. And that is telling me that I am sat, I need to get that quite exact. There we go. I probably need to zoom in a little bit more. Sorry, bear with me. There we go. I'm trying to get it so that it's exactly on my point. So we have the longitude and latitude here, that 54 and -3, that's the longitude and latitude. Then we've got the distance away from the cross, that little cross in the center of the screen, to where I'm sat. And then the third number, or fourth number, I can't count, that 4.9 meters, that's how high I am above sea level. So if I actually go into the sea, there we go, you can see it's 0 meters above sea level. And now that I've moved away from my point of position, I'm actually 276.4 meters away from where I was. And if I go back closer, you can see it coming back up. There we go, trying to get it bang on where I am. That's basically 60 meters away from where I am. I'm trying to get this exact, but it needs to be on the exact rock upon which I'm sat. And it's very tricky, but it's kind of irrelevant. So the reason why this is quite helpful is, first of all, you can look at how, so here we go, so we're on a 10 meter contour line here, just placing that cross on that 10 meter line. You can see 10.2 meters above sea level. We've got the spot height there of 21, which again is reflected up on the top of the screen there. And it's quite hard to get it accurate because it's a very thin cross, or exact actually, I think is a better phrase, because it is quite accurate. But the nice tool I find in this is actually just being able to very quickly, say I wanted to walk back to Port Carlisle, this junction here, I can just see, that's 1.59 kilometers, which is super, super quick and super handy from my exact location to work out how far I have to walk to get to this junction here in Gallison. That's 3.65 kilometers. Really quite easy, and that's all from having my location. So you've got to have your GPS turned on, and you can use this in power saving. I've just had to change to non-power saving in order to show you a few things, but just straight up, there's some super, super simple tools that you can use right there. Now, if I pull up this black bar at the bottom here, this gives you basically how far the walk is, roughly how many days they think you should take, and the total elevation. And here we've got the profile of the entire route, and that central section is actually quite hilly. That's where the Pennine Way joins it for approximately 9 miles. So that's just there, nice and helpful. Then we've got, as you've already seen here, the location button. That's what brings us to where we are. You click that, that's that blue dot. Then we've got layers. Now this is a pro feature here, okay? So you can set active layers and you can blend layers. Now bear with me because I'm not necessarily technically minded, but I do think this is absolutely fantastic. So the original mapping software that you get when you start the trail is this one, which is OSM Outdoors, which... Did I break it? I think I broke it. Let me just get rid of all of those. No, I didn't. There we go. That's the C. I didn't break it. Which is the original Hiiker mapping software, which is very, very detailed. You can see all the contours. You've got roads, lanes, rivers, forests, the sea, which is why I thought I broke it, because I was in the sea. Arguably, I am in the sea. I'm right on the edge of the sea. So it's a fantastic mapping software. That's what you'll get for free if you join the app, just for free. But then you can download all these other layers. Now, not just these layers above, but you can click add more layers and look at the partnerships that these guys have. This is constantly in growth and in work. So here in the UK, we have Harvey Maps. We have got OS, Ordnance Survey. There's Northern Ireland, Ordnance Survey. If you're in New Zealand, if you're in Ireland, if you're like worldwide maps here as well. If I click that, all around the place, there's absolutely tons. You can get completely lost. If you're a map geek, this is the place to hang out. United States, the USGS Topo, like it's absolutely endless. They have so many different options. And what you can do is select ones that you want to work with. So for me here in the UK, I play around with Harvey Maps, which is this one. And I play around with the Ordnance Survey. And what you can do is you can drag, here we go. It's a little bit fiddly sometimes. Drag and drop the one that you want to be the primary at the top, your base layer. Actually, it's at the bottom, to be fair. At the base layer. And you can use the other ones. Now, for me on this hike, the one that I have been most interested in comparing to sorry about the wind picking up. to the original OS map is the UK Great Britain Ordnance Survey historical map. So these lines here, these adjustments essentially allow you to intensify or decrease the map that's showing. So if I just decrease everything except this historical map here, and then I pull this out of the way, you can see this is the historical map exactly where I am. Look, I'm sat next to Rampart Head, Mile End, because that's the end of the Hadrian's Wall, and we can see all these historical features. Absolutely fascinating. I mean, look at this, and I just think it's just incredible. If I orientate that again, look, Solway Railway going across there. It's all here, and it's mind-blowing, really, that this is just all completely available. Actually, that's not orientated, is it? There we go, that's better. Bonas here, and I can start to blend that, for example, with my Ordnance Survey. Sorry, as I say, it gets a little bit fiddly with cold hands. With my Ordnance Survey one, if it's going to, nope, okay, that's fine. I have to pull this one down as well. Just a bit of playing around, getting the intensity. Here we go. And now we've got old and new. And it's a little bit tricky to see, but you can see sort of turret there, the Roman fort site of, and definitely if you play around with this, you can, there we go, look at that, old and new. Like, that is unheard of in an app. And that's been one of my favourite things on this hike, because we've been walking this long historical route, and we've been able to look at what it's like sort of in the historical map sense and what it's like in the modern day map sense. So we'll get rid of that one now, pull that one right up, there we go, back to where we are. So we're back on the Ordnance Survey. So you can have your 1 to 50 map, and you can have your 1 to 25 as you sort of zoom in that little bit further. You've got lots of different options there, which is just super nice and handy. So that's some of those features. Definitely worth playing around with that, and that's a pro tool that you can access there by sort of purchasing the app. If you click the plus button, click the plus button here, click, we have multiple things here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. What did I do? You can click the plus button and you can access this sort of menu of different options. So starting from the top, we click this as a drop down, points of interest and trail lines. So this is where we can break our route down into stages. If I click that and I click close, what you can see is these are the suggested stages that Hiiker encourage you to follow, and these flags mark the stages. That's stage 5, that's stage 6. So that's assuming you're walking from east to west, excuse me. If we click the plus sign and the reverse trail, essentially that reverses the order of everything. You've still got the flags. It's exactly the same essentially, but just backwards. Let's click that again to get it back to how I want it now. And points of interest, so we get rid of the stages. If you're looking to actually plan the trail using this app, that is no bother at all, because you can choose your accommodation markers, hotels, hostels, B&B, campground, shelters, and then OSM campsites. So if I just click all of those, for example, boom, look how many. It's a bit chaotic, but it's all there to help you plan your trail, which is just epic. Then we'll get rid of all of those, so we're not, oops a daisy, so we're not completely swamped and swallowed. There we go. Amenity markers, we've got bus stops, fast food, healthcare, peaks if you're a peak bagger, pubs if you're a pub crawl person, pharmacies if you need one, water, restaurant, shelter, shops, town, viewpoint, history. It's all there. So history, for example, there's obviously tons of historical markers along this route, the nearest one being Mile Castle 77. So that's something that we can see along the way. Mile Castle site of, just sort of lots of Mile Castles along the edge of Hadrian's Wall here. Then we've got trail lines and the main trail. So that's sort of the points of interest, and that's really how you want to plan your walk. And for us, that's proved to be really helpful when we've been hiking along in bad weather and we've actually decided we want to stay in a bunkhouse rather than camp. So we clicked here, we went shelter, hostel, and then we've been able to find some of our hostels, for example, Flores on the Wall Independent Hostel. So super easy, right at the click of a finger. Right, so we have a measurement tool here. We'll click that one here. I'll go back to where I am. This is a really nice tool, actually. So whilst we have the cross, the center of the screen, and we can hold that, and that'll tell us how far away it is from where we are, we can also use this measurement tool. Let me just get rid of the shelters and stuff. Go away. So if I wanted to say, I'm going to walk from this point here at the end of the trail to, I would like to walk to this pub at Boya by Sands. Click there. Click. So it's only ever going to follow the route of the trail, and then that's going to tell you how far it is. So it's 12.96 kilometers. It's going to take you roughly 2 hours and 24 minutes. You've got I'm running out of battery. 56.9 meters above sea level, and then it shows you the elevation there. So that's a really nice tool as well. If you're just feeling super fatigued and you want to see how far you have to go, or anything else like that, you know, where's the next water course, how far do you have to get to that, where's the next shelter, are we going to make it before it gets dark? Really, really nice and handy tool. And again, it's fantastic that it doesn't just follow any random road, it can only follow the selected GPX trail that you've got on the particular hike that you're following. So it's super automatic. Again, click, click, click. It saves you fiddling with cold hands. It's really quite easy and it does the job. So we'll get rid of that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. So back to where we are, zooming in. And really that's most of the features here on the menu with the plus trail. Share the trail, you can share with your friends and family, and you can clear all markers if you get a bit chaotic, sort of saving things on there. But there's tons you can do, and obviously just generally using this as navigation. So for me, you know, this is where we are. There's a pub just up the road, there's a Roman fort, and just generally having this in your back pocket where you've got your guidebook, having this as your backup to see where you want to go is so easy. So that's some of those features on the app itself. Now let's break down the different things within, or on the map itself. Now let's break down some of the features that we've got actually here on each trail description page. So I have just finished the Hadrian's Wall path. As we know, this is the Hadrian's Wall page. So there is a page for every single trail that is on the app. And essentially, let's break it down. So at the top, we have this bar. We've got overview, reviews, articles, and amenities. So reviews are public reviews. You can add your own opinion there. People have written stuff. I've put it as 4-star. I don't remember doing that. Right, 4-star. Articles, these are things people have written about this. There's Max from It Takes a Journey. She's written a hike there, and I will be shortly adding one, as obviously I work with Hiiker and think they're awesome, so I'm very happy to write articles that help people to get outside. And then amenities, that's basically a really quick way to see everything you want to know about the trail there. So back to overview. So you can see we've got the map, and then we have a whole bunch of snazzy pictures. It certainly didn't look like that for us. So we'll click view map, and this is basically back here. That's sort of all the plus signs, you know, your measurement tools, all of that sort of thing. Close that. Then we just have essentially the difficulty. This is rated as a medium. I'm not sure I would agree with that, but there we go. Then we've got track this trail. So that's the record button. We'll come to that later. We've got download GPX, which is super nice because then we can import that or manipulate it or do whatever we want to do with that GPX. Print map. That's always an interesting one. Essentially, we can print it, which is absolutely fine, although it sort of breaks it down into stages. It's got all sorts of different, it's quite cool actually, I have to say. So that's the print map. I'll leave you guys to play with that. And then view trail stages. These are the different stages, and you can click one and have a look at that on the map. Now obviously the trail stages may be different to what you're actually hiking. Then we have some stats here. I have to say these are not always completely accurate. It's an evolution. The distance generally is, but 7 days, for example. First time I did the Hadrian's Wall path, I did it in 4 days. So don't take that as fact, but it's, you know, quite nice to have as guidance. And then we've got a little bit of information here about the trail, which is super nice. Different tags, and then boom, onto nearby trails if you've got some time to kill and you want to do something extra. Back on the main homepage now, we can see at the bottom we've got home, explore, map, record, and profile. So we're going to click explore now. So we click that one. And basically what this does is it takes us to a big old map. Obviously, if you've got your location on, it's going to take you to nearby where you are. And you can see these numbers here, and these are essentially different trails that are available in the area. You can see it sort of swaps and changes depending on what you're looking at. But if I click one, let's go for the 17, let's go for 8, and sort of zooms in and in and in and in, 2, and then boom, here we go. So there's 2 trails here. The Delamere Way, never heard of that, that sounds cool. And what's this one here? So these little sort of location buttons are trails. The Edisborough Way, 27.5 kilometers. You see, you can click that. and then it takes you to the trail overview page, which we've already explored. So it's a really nice way to see if there's any trails local to you that you might be missing. You know, I live down here in the southwest, so it's a nice way for me to see if there's like, oh yeah, I'd like to explore that. Or say I am on a film shoot up in Edinburgh. I'm like, oh, I quite fancy seeing what trails are around here, and so on. You can just basically find trails, and this is where I find this app just phenomenal, because actually wherever you are in the world it's going to help you see different trails that are available. So me and my partner spend a lot of time in Germany, and we like to see what trails there are in Germany, and this is again a really nice way to sort of zoom in and be like, cool, what's this trail? There's a trail and so on. There's loads and loads and loads available. So that is the explore button. Then next along on the bottom is map, so we can click that one. And this looks kind of similar initially. Again, you can find trails through this, but what I really want to show you is, again, on the right hand side here we have the plus button. Here's a whole bunch of interesting things. So we've talked about sort of planning a hike, or we'll talk about that, shortly when it comes to the location button. Then we've got sort of edit a planned hike. So if we've planned a particular hike, we can edit that. Now, these two next ones I find very interesting. So import GPX. If there is a route that you have already mapped or you have the GPX for, you can import it. So I'm going to click that now. And I just before this downloaded the West Highland Way. Import the West Highland Way. Here we go. And what you can see is essentially the route A to B. At the bottom there, we've got the elevation profile, which is quite interesting. There we go. It's showing at the bottom the sort of distance, the elevation gain. 1 day, again, is very approximate. It is quite a far walk. So, yeah, that's some things there, and you can click on that elevation profile as well, and it shows you the particular points. I mean, no doubt this stretch here is the Devil's Staircase, which is one of the highest stretches on the West Highland Way, which is a route I've walked 3 times. But I'm not going to break that down too much for you, because I know everybody uses GPXs very differently. But hopefully that's just a helpful little insight as to how the importing GPX feature works on this app. Now we're back on the map page. We've got that plus again, and then we can download map area. So this is something else I find really, really good. Whilst we are in a civilization, I suppose, that has loads of good internet service, it's not everywhere. And I know, for example, around here, the service, for me at least, as a Tesco's service user, is quite dodgy at points. And so you might want to download your map for offline. So you can click download, you can choose the layers that you want. Let's just download the main one and then click download for offline use. And then you've got it there. See that window in the center of the screen there? That's the section that I've downloaded for offline use. And you can zoom in on that. And it just basically means you can navigate without requiring the internet. So you can have your phone on flight mode. So it's a super, super handy tool. It's something I use all of the time because I'm trying to save battery. So having my phone on flight mode saves battery, and downloading the map offline means I can use it easy peasy, zero stress about the internet. And then last but not least, on the plus sign is just the go to location. So that takes you to where you are. And that is everything on that map section. Next up, we have record. So we can see on the record page, we've got lots of different options. Again, we click that. Start with without a route. So that's literally tracking exactly where we are. We'll do that in a moment. Track with a known route. So that's going to basically, if you pick a route and follow that, super straightforward. Track with a planned route, similar, and then track a recorded route. So that's one that you've already created yourself. So there's lots of options there. Let's have a little play and show you how it works. So it's going to tell us where we are if our GPS is on. And if I click start and I start walking around, which I'm going to do now. Let's go for a walk up and down. Here we go. It's telling me the distance that I'm walking, the elevation that I'm gaining. It's slowly updating. Obviously, it has to have a clear view of the sky at all times. I mean, you could have this in your pocket and just leave it running, and it is going to sap your phone battery. But essentially, it's telling me how far I've walked, and you can use this as a measurement tool, kind of like you use your Fitbit, that sort of thing, to document, I suppose, the journey time that you've been going. You know, if you're planning a walk for the Ramblers or taking your mates out, you can say, look, I've walked this route, this is how far it was, this is how long it took me, and this is how much elevation there is, all just there with a click of a button. Again, really, really helpful tool, and actually sometimes super morale boosting, because you see these signs on the trails and they go, oh, there's 4 miles to go, and then you walk it and then it actually is 3.8 miles and you're like, oh yeah, I saved myself 0.2 miles. So just one of those fun things to play around with. And for people who like their numbers, you know, stopping this recording, for example, click pause, finish, we get the summary of everything that we've got. We can write a note, we can name it, we can add photos if we want to, and then that's all just here. We click save. I can't click save right now because I can click save. Save, there we go. I have to add a name. Okay. Hiker wander on the beach. Hiker wandering on the beach. Description, super nice hike. Add photo. We don't need to go into my gallery. Click save, and then that's just there as my tracked hike, which I can then find under my profile, recorded hikes, hiker wandering on the beach, and then I can see it all there, and it's just there forever. And it's just, I love this feature. It's a really, really nice way to actually record your hikes and adventures. But there we go, guys. I hope that has been interesting for you. Now, I appreciate there is so much for me to run through here. It's really difficult to pick an order through which to go through it all, but hopefully I've covered a lot of ground, and more than anything, just whetted your appetite to get curious, to get outside, pack a flask, ideally a Stay Wild one, go for a little hike, and play around with the different features. Even for me in doing this review, you know, I've been reminded about some of the stuff you can do with this app, and I really think it's rather cool. Everything is completely my opinion. I'm genuinely sharing this because I really think it is transformational. This is the future of map apps, in my opinion, and what a fantastic tool it is to enabling people to get outside. I mean, there's nothing better than that, in my opinion. So don't forget, 20% off, use the code Abbie, ABBIE, for 1 to 3 year subscription. And the final thing I just want to say is, if you are heading out, please make sure you let somebody know where you're going. And technology is fantastic in all of its wonderful ways, but it can die. Batteries can run out, and we, for example, have just been in the rain for 3 days. Things can get waterlogged and electronics can just go, I'm out of here. So make sure you've got a backup for whatever technology or app or anything that you're using, just so that you can stay safe, to look after yourself and look after our community as well. Super, super important, as is having fun. So wherever you're going, enjoy your adventures. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay wild. I'll see you soon.